How do you feel about Gunnar Stockton? I'm asking you. I want you to tell me in the comments, and I'm going to look at them and I'll probably respond to a couple of them. But how do you feel about Georgia quarterback Gunnar Stockton as we get further through this process, getting through spring practice, hearing what we're hearing, seeing what we're seeing? It's become very clear Gunnar Stockton's QB1 for Georgia. And unless something happens, I don't see that changing. And Kirby's probably going to wait until August to make that official announcement, to make that designation for Gunnar and let him really fight for it this offseason. But Gunnar Stockton's going to be Georgia's quarterback. And I want to know how you feel about that. I've seen mixed feelings. Let's talk about Gunnar Stockton. Ryan Curley from Dawg Post here, always talking about the Georgia Bulldogs and the Georgia quarterback situation. I think, to me, there's buzz. To me, there's buzz in the air about Gunnar from within the program. I think about down in New Orleans, Georgia didn't get it done. They didn't beat Notre Dame. In fact, it was a pretty bad loss if you ask me. It's a pretty bad loss if you ask most people. I don't really think that falls on Gunnar Stockton's shoulders. I think that, to me, it was coaching first and foremost, and there was a little bit of, there was obviously a lack of execution. Georgia couldn't run the ball, right? There were some issues that were kind of beyond Gunnar's control, and that was the only time he started for Georgia, and he's inexperienced. But the buzz was in the air about him. I had not seen the team so happy for a long time, right? Between 2023 losing that SEC championship, they had their three-peat hopes kind of die right there. Kind of since then, there wasn't that happiness with the team. 2024 was a stressful season for Georgia. They lost games in the regular season for the first time in 3-4 years. They were in battles with teams they shouldn't have been in battles with. They had a dramatic, emotional loss against Alabama. The Kentucky game happened the way it happened. There's people getting arrested. There's people getting suspended. Carson Beck is turning into a really big celebrity for the wrong reasons. And Georgia's in the news cycle for bad things. And the offense was sputtering. It struggled throughout the year. Carson Beck struggled. And it just got bad there for a month or so. I didn't feel a sense of happiness and relief with the team. In 2021, they were champions. They were really good. It's easy to be happy about it when you're beating up on teams all the time. 22, there was that same vibe, for a lack of better term. It's easy for me to sit here and say I can feel those things. I get to be close up. That's part of this job. I get to be at the conferences. I get to be behind the scenes. I get to be up close and see certain things. And you can get a feeling. You can definitely get a feeling for, okay, this is gonna go right. This is gonna go wrong. Definitely felt this past season something's off. Something stinks, right? Something stinks about this situation. And I'm not pinning this. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. I'm not pinning this on Carson Beck. But the vibe changed when Gunnar Stockton became Georgia's quarterback. The vibe certainly changed, and things were happier again. And it felt like there was like this hope all of a sudden that wasn't there before. And I'm not putting that on Carson Beck. I think that he is a good quarterback. I think that he got worse. He played much better in 2023, and we'll see what happens for him at Miami. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm curious to watch it. But the vibe changed, and the vibe was different down in New Orleans when we get to be around the team a little bit more during those bowl weeks, and there's big media days, and you can talk to whoever you want. You get like an hour to talk to, maybe not even a full hour, to talk to whoever you want. There's some people at podiums, some people are just sitting at tables, people are joking around. They're loose, and they were loose and confident in Gunnar Stockton. And Kirby, the way that he talked about Gunnar was just with so much respect and admiration. He doesn't talk about every player like that. He made a comment the other day how Georgia would be better off if they had Gunners at every position. Why? Because he cares about Georgia. He leads by example. He's a film junkie, and He just wants to win, right? So he's got a lot of those traits that Kirby really wants, not just out of a quarterback, but out of a player on his team. And the vibe was just different. All the players were talking about how they trust Gunnar Stockton. Now, you need to have that. You need to put that faith into a player to give them that empowerment to feel better and feel more confident. But it was genuine. These guys love Gunnar Stockton. Chris Cole, linebacker, he's an upcoming sophomore. He was a true freshman last year. Played good bit of snaps, especially when Smile Munden was down with an injury for a few weeks. Chris Cole, he was in the press conference room the other night when Gunnar Stockton was going after Gunnar Stockton. And usually the players don't sit there and watch the others, but Chris Cole was in there watching Gunnar Stockton, and Gunner's a happy guy. He doesn't have much to say. He's like, heck this, heck that. Heck, I just love playing with these guys. Those are the kinds of things that Gunnar Stockton says over and over. And Chris Cole, he gets to the podium. He's asked about Gunnar. He just says, look, he's always smiling. I love being around him. People just really, really like Gunnar Stockton. Now, it was noticeable in the SEC Championship. Georgia, the fans, the team, people were elated when he was out there. And the thing is going to be, though, no one is going to care how much Gunnar Stockton's personality is bubbly or how he's a Georgia-grown kid. People are not going to care about how the team feels about him if he doesn't perform on the football field. That's the real question. And that's just how it is. And it's if the president of Coke, right, Coca-Cola, are people going to care, oh, the drink is so good, the vibes around here are so great? No one's going to care if it's not bringing in money, if they're not doing that. That's off the dome example. But you get what I'm saying. If they're not winning football games and he's not performing to a certain level, things aren't going to matter. Now, here are the things about Gunnar. He's gritty. He can run. And he can sling the football. He can. All right? You saw against Notre Dame, they trusted him to launch the ball downfield. He hit a couple nice passes. That throw to Arian Smith down the sideline, I think it was about a 40 to 50-yard throw, where he gets lit up right afterwards. That was a high-level throw, and it was very accurate. I've seen him make some crazy throws in high school. I saw him play enough in high school. He's got a talented arm. Is it quite as talented as Carson Beck's? Maybe not. Is it quite as talented as Ryan Puglisi? I don't think so. But it doesn't mean that he can't be a good quarterback. He's got to help them win the games this year. I think his supporting cast is better, to be quite honest with you. I think that they brought in weapons, and it's going to take time for them to mesh. That's kind of what this spring is about right now for their offense. They're installing new things. They're getting these new players ready together, but he's going to have to make plays. There's a chance the running back situation's not great. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more this week. But they brought in new receivers for him. He's going to have a new offensive line. He's got a coordinator that's believed in him for a really long time. What he needs to do is take care of the football, not turn it over a bunch, and just play gritty ball. And Georgia wants to run the ball with Gunnar Stockton. That includes him running the football. I think you're going to see a different Georgia offense this coming season. Mike Bobo, Kirby Smart, they're not listening to everybody, but the noise gets to you, and changes are going to be made. I would be surprised if we just see the same copy and paste offense that we saw last season with Gunnar Stockton. Yes, there are going to be screens. Yes, there are going to be some runs that people don't like. But I do think it's going to be different, and I think it has an opportunity to be a more dynamic offense. And they brought in dynamic playmakers, and that should make things easier for him. But what I think is interesting is how much people love this guy around the program. They just really love Gunnar Stockton. Is that going to translate to Georgia playing really well in the field? And my question is, how do you feel about him? Seriously, how do you feel? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.